So we're going to make some homemade yogurt today according to the specific carbohydrate diet. And what's important is when you make it in the crock pot is to learn the temperatures as well as when we're going to transfer it over to the heating pad. So let me share with you. In the beginning, what you need to do is you need to take as much liquid as you are going to use for your yogurt. We're going to use a gallon. We're going to turn it on to high. And we're going to set it up to see when it reaches boiling point of over 180 degrees, which I've determined for this crock pot was going to be 3.5 hours. So I set the timer to 3.5 hours. I add the half and half milk, and I'm going to wait for it to come to boiling point. I'm going to check the temperature by my meat thermometer that will stick in around 3.25 hours. What I've determined on my crock pot is that the warm setting actually comes down to about 120 degrees, which is very warm for the fermentation. We need to get it between 100 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So what we will use is we'll use the heating pad method. I will take the glass crock pot out of the heating element and I will put it onto the heating pad, which I will show you later. There is 3 settings for the heating pad. First of all, there's no automatic turn off. The one I purchased was from CVS. They also have them at any of the other pharmacy or department stores or also online. There is a high, medium, and low. What I've determined is, because I've taken cold water and in the crock pot and I put it on top of the heating pad, I determined that the low setting actually is 108 degrees, which is perfect for fermentation. So we'll transfer this through the process and we'll go through that. But the first thing is to learn what your crock pot temperature is and also what your heating pad temperature is. See you soon. So here we are. It's been 3 hours and 22 minutes and I checked the temperature. It comes out to 185 degrees, which is perfect. At a little over 180 is fine. I shut off the system. What we're going to do is we're going to cool it down now to below 80 degrees, between 64 and 80 degrees, and I'm going to do it in 2 ways. I'm going to start off with an ice bath in the sink, and then I'm going to finish it off in the refrigerator. It should take about an hour, hour and a half for about a gallon. See you soon. We're at the point now where I have now cooled down the boiled half and half milk. And I took the temperature and it was down to 77 degrees, which is fine. Anything below 80 degrees is fine. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the Dannon all-natural plain yogurt, whole milk, and because it's 1 gallon that we're using, we're going to be using 1 cup of the Dannon all-natural plain yogurt, whole milk for the yogurt starter. And so what I do is instead of adding it directly into the boiled milk, we're going to be putting it a cup into another bowl and then mixing it together with a little bit of the boiled milk. So we're actually going to be doing a mixture of the yogurt starter and the boiled milk together before we actually enter it into the final mixture. That way we know it's all mixed up. So we're going to take a cup, measures out fine. We're going to add that into some of the boiled milk that we just took out that's been lowered down to 77 degrees. And we're adding that yogurt starter right into this, this milk mixture. I always seal back my Dannon yogurt with the tin foil that it comes with so that it gives it extra tightness. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swirl this around until it actually becomes smooth and not bumpy the way it is with the yogurt in there. What I've also done is I've used a mixer utensil. And that kind of helps mix it in with a mixer. I'm not whipping it. I'm just making sure that all those lumps go away. We're all the way now. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to add that into the milk mixture that we're going to be heating up on our heating pad. The heating pad is already on. I started it off on high and I'm going to adjust it when it reaches the temperature of about 100 degrees. Right now it's at 77 degrees. And I'm going to maintain that on the low function because I've already predetermined that on my heating pad the low feature is 108 degrees as a constant. It will sit in this for 24 hours at a minimum. At that point I'll shut everything down and we'll be here with the final product. It's been 25 hours since the yogurt's been sitting on the heating pad, which was on low, which was set at about 108 degrees, which we predetermined. So what I would do is I would take the cover off, get all the condensation off of it, and then it's going to go into the refrigerator for about 6 or 8 hours for it to gel up. After that's all done, I'm going to take it out of the refrigerator and I'm going to spoon it into mason jars. These are set at 1 cup. The reason I do that is for 2 reasons. One is contamination, so that I don't keep on going back into the same container to take out yogurt. And the other thing is that once I put it in these 1 cups, they are sealed away from any other bacteria that may grow, and it also controls my intake so that I can measure how many I'm eating a day, and that I'm not just scooping out because it tastes so good that I'm not just scooping out more than I should be eating. So that completes everything. There is really, the important is when you are making the homemade yogurt is to know your temperature of your crock pot, of your heating pad first, using water as your first thing and using the time period to find out at what temperature it reaches. In the beginning, you're going to boil the half and half or the milk mixture in the crock pot itself, in the heating element. As I said, it took about 3.5 hours. I did the cool down on an ice bath to about 77 degrees, and I used the refrigerator to final that. I used the heat up also on the heating pad from the 77 degrees up to 105. And so I measured that, which took a few hours, and then 24 or 25 hours on the heating pad itself. And that really completes everything for the crock pot. The reason I do it, it actually is a method that I can make up to 24 cups of yogurt at a time. And eating about 2 to 3 a day, you can do the math. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope this helps you make some really good medicine called homemade yogurt. Thank you. I also want to show that the thickness is all there. It doesn't move around at all. Have a good one. Thank you.